John White here to take you through this week on HRTV. The team at West Point Thoroughbreds had the camera this week for the latest edition of HRTV Diary.
Inside the Craig DeLassy barn at Del Mar, Awesome Gem about ready to head off to the hyperbaric chamber, a little spa treatment for the gemster. Team captain Craig DeLassy doing something probably critical like texting his kids or something like that. All right, so the gemster's heading off to hyperbaric therapy. Has he done this before?
Yes, he has. Yeah, it's great therapy for horses coming out of strenuous races, which he put in a great effort last week. I'm sure in his little way he appreciates it, and it just makes him feel that much better.
You want to go? You body sore? Let's see. Legs look pretty cold and tight.
I'm right there with him. I'll stand in the machine myself with him.
Here we are at Emerald Downs, Long Acres Mile Day, 2009.
Comments before the big guy comes in?
We're ready. As you can see, we quiet before the storm.
Awesome Gem, looking cool, calm, collected.
Here comes Awesome Gem from the back, right down the extreme outside, and Wasserman. Assessment in front, tackled by Awesome Gem. Assessment from Awesome Gem, Tatey, and on the outside, Wasserman was fourth.
Awesome Gem will be getting a little bit of exercise out there on Del Mar's training track.
First few days back since his big effort up there in Washington, and decided to come out the track and pony jog him without a rider, kind of take the weight off his back, and he looks fantastic. Couldn't be doing better, and really came out of the race in good shape.
He's got his own private training track.
Yeah, it was good.
The Gemster, feeling good. Good job, Thomas. He looks all right, huh?
Oh, it looks fabulous. Came out of the race great last week, and can't wait for a couple weeks from now.
So Lafitte, he's been consistent in his last two. Second on the dirt up at Emerald Downs, second in the Eddie Reed on turf. He tried the Classic at one point in his career. Last time he was soundly defeated by Goldakova. So it looks like once again West Point Thoroughbreds has options, and they've got a couple of nice horses coast to coast. Also Macho again on the East Coast.
He was third to Big Red the second, Curlin right in that Breeders' Cup Classic in the mud a couple years ago.
It's all about the black and gold, baby.
3-year-old trotter Muscle Hill scored his 14th straight win in Saturday's American National at Balmoral.
Greg, you've had probably your share of good horses, but I would have to think, guessing, this is probably the best you've ever trained. What was it about this horse when you first got it that made you think, you know what, this could be something special?
I picked him out on a video. What happens with the standardbreds is you go to the sales, and especially in the trotters, they have a videotape of them trotting in the field, so you get a good sense of what their gait's going to be like when you hitch them. And he really had the it factor. He trotted that 1, 2, 3, 4, and what they call the best way of a trotting gait is like a barrel rolling down a hill. And that's really what he had, and he displayed that as soon as he got hooked to a jog cart, and he really was good all the way down.
Muscle Hill up and alongside and right by Southern Rocky Top. Then it's cruise along. Final 1/8 of a mile for Muscle Hill and Brian Sears, and they are just pulling away. Muscle Hill winning another, takes the American National, and will do it in a mile of 1:52 and 3.
Leonard Lusky was on the phone Thursday to discuss his favorite horse and the website dedicated to his legacy.
Is there one thing out there that we might not be aware of with Secretariat, a little smidget that has slipped between the cracks but is still interesting?
Well, there's a lot of good little stories. One of my favorites that I have ever heard, we actually had a reunion at the Meadow 2 years ago where a lot of the old grooms that actually handled Secretariat as a baby, they were all there, and we got to hear stories, share stories, and one of my favorites was that all the foals and their mothers, dams, were in the pasture, which was adjacent to a river right there at the Meadow. And sometimes, you know, the horses would go by the shore, or maybe they'd even get a step if they could. But at one point, they were gathering all the mares and their foals in. All came in except for one foal, Secretariat, whereas they were very concerned. He was certainly a well-prized breeding expectation, so, everybody wondered where he could be, what was going on, and they found him, and he was just swimming away in the river.
Fantastic. Some horses afraid of water, not Secretariat.
I gather that really that horse was exceptional, physically, mentally, just about every which way.
Pursuit of the Cup remembered another champion, Gulch, winner of the 1988 Breeders' Cup Sprint.
And in between horses, Gulch is right there, fourth. On the outside, Play the King now, and they're down to the final furlong. Very subtle, has now taken the lead. On the outside, Play the King is charging hard. Gulch is right there, Gulch emerging with the lead. Play the King, it's Gulch, Play the King, here's the wire, and Gulch has won it. And a salute of victory from Angel Cordero Jr.
Gulch is in the twilight of his career. He's 25 years old now. Just been a dream horse. He's one of those, when you have a barn full of stallions, you almost forget he's around. He's so easy to deal with, and we've been lucky in that way that he really has a great attitude, and he likes things to be routine. When things enter into the mix that aren't normal, it upsets him a little bit, but he handles it all very well. Well, he was a son of Mr. Prospector, who was obviously a very, very talented racehorse, and the combination of the two at the time was about as good as you could get. So we were very keen on him as a stallion, and culminating his career by winning the Breeders' Cup Sprint was kind of the icing on the cake for him to launch his stud career.
Sprinters were also the highlight of Remington's opening weekend. President Scott Wells joined Race Day America on Monday.
Horse Players Association rated Remington a top 3 track in North America. How exciting was that to get that news, and how important is that to your staff?
Well, you know, what we're trying to do is get the word out to bettors around the country that all these criteria that the bettors themselves applied in assessing these tracks, you know, because of our field size, because of our average payoffs, and the quality of the racing, they give us a very, very high composite score. So this is first-class racing, and you know, we're sort of a diamond in the rough right now. So we appreciate you guys shining the spotlight on us this morning.
Well, no problem. And we know Steve Asmussen has been in the spotlight with Curlin, of course, and then Rachel Alexandra this year. And yet he's a well-diversified outfit, and he's made Remington home on a lot of occasions, too, winning a stake on opening weekend with Grand Slam Andre. What does it mean to you to have trainers like him at Remington?
Well, you know, Steve, if I'm not mistaken, Steve was here back in the 90s. I know that, and I think he won his first training title here. And he's always been a strong supporter of our program, and you know, that Oklahoma Derby is out there for him to win yet, and I'm hoping he'll bring one or two of those great 3-year-olds he has this year and run in our $400,000 race in October. But Steve's just a consummate horseman, and he's you know, I used to work for Jack Vandenberg, and of course working for your dad, Scott, was was another big operation. But those guys they have an amazing ability to ship horses all over the country, and Steve's right in that class. He may be the best we've seen yet at running a big stable. He's a tremendous horseman and knows each of his horses and knows how to spot them.
When HRTV Rewind returns, Travers Day at the Spa.
Music note, who repels the challenge of Indian Blessing. Oh, he took a misstep and he still won. Vineyard Haven.
And these stewards will have their hands full looking at this stretch drive in the King's Bishop.
The winner of the Travers and the Belmont is Summerbird.
The horse guy, Charlie Ludlow, joined against the odds this week, offering the Las Vegas Hilton's current odds for the Breeders' Cup Classic.
I understand you've got your Breeders' Cup futures up right now.
Yes, we finally did.
Yeah, the Classic. I mean, who's your #1 horse on the Classic?
I hate to admit it. We went Euro. We've got Sea the Stars as the favorite. Actually, Zenyatta is right up there with it. Rip Van Winkle's right there. I was kind of impressed with Master Craftsman the other day in that race that he lost to See the Stars. So it's kind of a weak field. It's a scary future book. You know, the horse that I like on our side of the ocean, we'll get a look at this weekend is Rail Trip. I think if you can get 25 to 1 or better on that horse, that might be a horse worth looking at.
Well, of course, Rachel's on your list too, but you know, the thing about betting futures, you bet on her and she doesn't run, you lose. So
that's the problem.
So, so that's why you've elevated her price.
She's going off at 35 to 1.
Right.
However, she's got to run and win the Breeders' Cup Classic, and I think it'll take an absolute miracle for her to change her mind and come out here. So I would say it's a bet that better should stay away from.
Well, Charlie, we wish you the best of luck this weekend. Thank you again so much for joining us on Against the Odds, and I know that Travers Day will be a big day at the Las Vegas Hilton as far as
absolutely. I think it's the greatest racing day of the year. This, to me, is the three-year-old championship. I love the Triple Crown, but to me, the Travers is where the crown should be put on.
Saturday at the Spa was the Midsummer Derby, won by Summer Bird. And Sunday, his trainer, Tim Ice, joined Race Day America.
Quality Road returns a winner.
The horse ran a beautiful race in Amsterdam and has trained extremely well since then.
Kensei takes the Jim Dandy by 2.
He's training very forwardly right now, and we're excited about our chances.
And it's Charitable Man. He was a good-looking 2-year-old, and he is back at 3.
He couldn't be doing any better, but I think that this is his toughest race to date. Summerbird win the Belmont, Quality Road, the Florida Derby, Kensei, the Jim Dandy. It's just a tough race.
As the field turns for home in the Travers Stakes, Summerbird is the leader. Kensei giving way toward the inside. Warriors Reward. Hold Me Back as their Charitable Man comes on through. Quality Road fights on with a furlong to go. The Belmont winner to catch. It is Summerbird. The lead's 3 lengths. Hold Me Back running out of racetrack. The winner of the Travers. And the Belmont is Summerbird.
Tim, how satisfying was this victory yesterday?
It was more than satisfying. It's an incredible feeling. I'm very humbled, yet very appreciative of having a colt like Summerbird. Now, I couldn't have dreamed a better dream. To win these 2 races and just being able to say that I have one of the top 3-year-old colts, it's amazing. Just going into starting into my 2nd year of training and to have a colt like this already, it's an incredible.
From here on out, leading up to, I would guess, the Breeders' Cup Classic with Summerbird, will he face older perhaps in the Jockey Club Gold Cup?
Spoken with the owners this morning. We're going to make a decision here in the next couple days. We're bound to face older horses. We still have the Super Derby, which is in 3 weeks, that we'll consider. It may be a long shot, only because it is just 3 weeks away, leaning towards either the Gold Cup or the Goodwood.
Do you have a special bond with him?
I do. He doesn't go anywhere without me. A great relationship, and it's one that I can feed off of and feel how he's doing. It's almost like the colt knows what races race week because he steps it up quite a bit.
Male and female sprinters also highlighted Saratoga's Travers Day card.
Music Note at the rail, Indian Blessing on the outside. They're putting on a show here, and it's Music Note, who repels the challenge of Indian Blessing as they come through the final furlong here of the Ballerina. Music Note splashing home to a clear-cut win.
So much for the 7 furlongs being too sharp. An A-sharp performance from Music Note in the Grade 1 Ballerina Stakes.
And she looks like $1 million out there on the racetrack. Saeed Ben Saror, Rick Matee, and Godolphin on fire everywhere in the world right now. Another Grade 1 winner for him.
But it's still Vineyard Haven. Captain Candyman trying to wear him down. Vineyard Haven trying to gut it out another 100 yards. Captain Candyman, can he? Oh, and he took a misstep right at the finish, and he still won. Vineyard Haven.
Inquiry sign is up, and the stewards will have their hands full looking at this stretch drive in the King's Bishop.
Yeah, and Javier Castellano has lodged an objection as well as the steward's inquiry here. So slight contact.
Oh, it's Perot and
now,
John Henry all over again.
Oh. Well, I couldn't call the one that I think the Well,
I'd be real nervous if and what a week it has been and what a day it's been for Rick Matee, Saeed Ben Sarur, and Godolphin, but I'd be real nervous about whether or not Vineyard Haven's number is going to stay up.
If I'm Javier Castellano, I've already told Ian Wilkes, do not take the saddle off of him, boss.
Vineyard Haven has come down as well. A disqualification. Captain Candyman Cutton moved up. 3 wins on the afternoon for Javier Castellano. Take another look to stewards deciding that Vineyard Haven causing all the contact and for interference disqualified in the Grade 1 Kings Bishop Stakes. Ouch.
Ian Wilkes joins us here on Race Day America the morning after his first Grade 1 win. Does this feel, Grade 1 win next to your name?
It feels good. I need to do it more often.
But what's it like to win your first Grade 1 in this fashion, to win it via disqualification? What were your emotions about that?
Well, they're not easy to come by. I'll take them any way I can get them. No, it was great. It was just you're there. The horse, he's such a hard trying horse. You got to love him. He brings his A game every time, and just to see him do it, it's just very satisfying.
Are you inclined to maybe head to Keeneland to give him another opportunity here at the age of 3 over a synthetic track?
I haven't even really given it a thought past this race, because after the Fountain of Youth, I talked to the owners, and our goal was the King's Bishop. Let's get to the King's Bishop. Let's win that. Try to win that anyway. And after that, I haven't even given it. I'm just going to enjoy this. Talk to the owners next week. Get the horse back to Kentucky, and just see what we want to do, because he's a gelding, and try and keep him around for a while. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Coming up on HRTV Rewind, Fanny's international report from France.
It was a record-breaking day in Deauville, one full of surprises.
Plus, a look back at Calder's Juvenile Showcase.
13 races with all 2-year-olds, so you just never know what you're going to see here.
Jackson Ben better than Mr. Green, and Jackson Ben wins the Affirmed.
Announcer Bobby Newman was on the phone Friday to preview Calder's Juvenile Showcase.
6 races, several dollars on the line tomorrow in the Juvenile Showcase. So there's some good young horses that come through Calder.
Yeah, Calder has always been known for having really, really good 2-year-olds, and you guys get to see them out there in California. Obviously, the ones that do really well out here, depending on who owns them, a lot of times they're sold for big money, and you get to see them running in big races in New York and California. We've already seen DeFunny Bone come out of Calder and crush a field this past week in a stake at Saratoga. We've seen a few 2-year-olds already from Calder ship out to Del Mar and run very, very well. So you just never know what you're going to see here, and 13 races with all 2-year-olds. And if you're a handicapper like I am, it's really fun trying to figure out who are these horses that are trying the turf for the first time or trying 2 turns for the first time are actually going to improve a lot from what we've seen in the past.
Miss Delight fast closing outside Whiny Taylor, and she's up to get the lead, and Miss Delight will win the Catch a Rising Star going away. Wave Me By from Christopher's Image as they come down to the line, and Wave Me By will score the upset in the Seacliff. Rosebud's Ridge, Sweet Lullaby, here's the line. Rosebud's Ridge holds on in the Susan's Girl. Gator Brew, the Isabella Angel, or Roma's Gal. 3 noses right on the line in the Lindsay Frolic. Retired to what from Girl Bar? Retired to what? 45-1 in the Basic Tipton Turf Dash. Mr. Green and Eddie Nunez try to battle back the inside. Jackson Ben better than Mr. Green, and Jackson Ben wins the Affirmed.
When HRTV Rewind returns, horses affected by natural disasters and the people doing their part to rescue them.
150 horses evacuated from Flint Ridge Riding Club, 70 of which are right here in our own backyard.
What are we going to do with our animals, with our horses?
Looking at the racetrack here just north of New Orleans.
We look to them for inspiration. We wish we could be that bold and that brave and that confident in who we really are.
International reporter Fanny Salman was in Deauville this week to witness 2 record-setting races.
But it was Deauville who provided more entertainment at the Group 1 level this weekend, and our own Fanny Salmon was there to cover the excitement.
In the Primorny, a Group 1 for 2-year-olds over 6/8 of a mile, English invader Canford Cliffs was the heavy favorite. He fell short on the good grounds of Deauville's straight course, finishing 3rd to Arcano and the filly Special Duty. Arcano, son of Oasis Dream, broke both the race and the track record, an astonishing first start under the colours of Sheikh Hamdam Al Maktoum.
To be honest, I don't know much about this horse. We only bought him after he won his second race, and Martin Dwyer, who has ridden him his 2 wins before, said they thought he probably wanted 7 furlongs, and Richard said he outstayed them today. They went very quick, and he was in trouble for a bit, but then he outstayed them at the end.
Back in 2001, the Prix Morny was won by Johannesburg, who went on to take the Breeders' Cup Juvenile on the dirt of Belmont Park. But it seems too early to think this far with Arcano.
I'm sure Sheikh Hamdan will want to try the Dewhurst first, maybe in England, and we'll see after that whether he would like to take him abroad or not, or whether he wants to keep him for a 3-year-old career. We'll just have to see what happens next time.
Shortly after, Lady Marianne was ready to roll with Frankie Dettori in the Euro Filly and Mare division against the grey Alpine Rose. At the post, Alpine Rose overcame by a short head. Trainer Alain Drouet-Dupré explained Alpine Rose came in heat 48 hours before the race and couldn't be pushed too hard. Yet she broke the race record by more than 3 seconds. The filly is entered in the Arc and the Prix de l'Opéra on the same day for females only, but so far no Breeders' Cup on the agenda.
Santa Anita's barns provided refuge for horses evacuated from the Flint Ridge Riding Club, endangered by the nearby La Cañada fires.
Here in Los Angeles, we're known for a couple of things, whether it be earthquakes or fires. Well, this time of year, it's usually fires. And right now, thousands of homes have been threatened here locally with the station fire burning up in La Cañada, Flint Ridge. The result, many people and animals had to be evacuated, and Santa Anita Park's backstretch served as a refuge for some very cute ponies and horses. And here's the crew that brought them in last night. And here at Santa Anita, they feel honored to be stabled. Beth Keach, the general manager in the middle of Flint Ridge Riding Club, along with Andy Klug to her left, or right rather, and Stuart Katzen. The appreciation is tremendous from these owners and horsemen from the Flint Ridge Riding Club to have the opportunity to come down here to Santa Anita. They are under quarantine, but happy, healthy, and walking the shed row, so they won't colic, according to their general manager. She wants to keep them moving. They've been through a lot of changes.
And applause to the folks here at Santa Anita for doing this and opening up the doors. Perfect location, a perfect situation, not that far from La Cañada. You've got the stalls. Majority of horses are down at Del Mar. Bring them on over.
That's right. 150 horses evacuated from Flint Ridge Riding Club, 70 of which are right here in our own backyard.
That's all for HRTV this week. Here's what you can look forward to next week, including an all-new episode of Inside Information.
Hurricane Katrina picked up steam in the Gulf of Mexico over the weekend, growing to a Category 5, the strongest possible on the scale.
When the levees broke, everything broke. Literally hearts, spirit.
The first words of water coming into the neighborhood was water was coming through the fairgrounds.
It was like walking into a black and white movie. There was no color. It was just gray. And the mood was gray.
For miles and miles, everything was broken. Every home, every business, every park.
The front side of the fairgrounds became an island. There was no way to get out.
None of us knew how to do any of this. This was our first time, but it was the time.
It wasn't reality. It was just something that you knew you had to do, and you had to bend the rules.
What are we going to do with our animals, with our horses?
Looking at the racetrack here just north of New Orleans, completely flooded and completely torn off. Unbelievable damage.
We look to them for inspiration. We wish we could be that bold and that brave and that confident in who we really are.
The city spoke that day to say, hey, here's something that's ours, and we're glad to have you back.
You just knew, that this was important.